I've designed literally thousands of templates in Canva. Wanna know a secret? I almost never start from scratch. Watch me take this one template and flip it into multiple different styles. This is how you go from zero to hundreds of products in your shop without burning out, and maybe finally even reach that dream revenue goal. In this video, I'm going to use a wedding invitation template from The Vault. If you don't know what The Vault is, it's my library of over 1,000 resellable digital products. I'll leave the link down below if you want to check it out. But honestly, you can use any template you already have. The point is to show you how to stretch one design into multiple variations so you don't feel like you're always starting over. This template I picked is our retro style wedding invitation. Right away, you can tell it's got that fun, nostalgic 70s vibe. The background uses those bold, wavy lines and earthy tones, orange, olive greens, and pink, which were super popular in that era. Then we've got the chunky, rounded fonts with a little bit of quirk to them. And of course, the disco ball icon at the top ties to the whole design back to that vintage party feel. So this is what a retro aesthetic looks like. Bold colors, playful typography, and graphic elements that make you think of the 60s and 70s. Now here's where it gets fun. I'm going to take this exact same invitation and show you how to transform it into completely different styles just by tweaking the colors, fonts, elements, and sometimes the layout. Side note, when I switch a design into a different style, the first thing I do is think about the direction I want to go. Once I know that, I figure out which elements support that vibe. For example, if I'm starting with a retro design and I want to make it boho, I'll ask, what makes something feel boho? Maybe that's pinks and browns, earthy shapes, or abstract line art. And if you're not sure where to start, go on Pinterest or even Canva itself and just browse for inspiration. I really believe every piece of art is inspired by something. So go out there and look for it. The goal isn't to copy, but to use that inspiration to create something original that feels like you. But before I jump into editing these templates, a lot of you have been asking me about other platforms I recommend for selling digital products. One of my favorites is Payhip. If you've been in the digital product world, you've probably heard of it. It's an all-in-one platform where you can sell not only digital products, but also online courses, coaching, memberships, and even physical products if you want to branch out later. They also recently launched their own marketplace, which means your products can get discovered alongside other sellers for extra visibility at no extra cost. In this part, I know my fellow template sellers will love. You don't even have to create PDF delivery files. Payhip has a built-in content editor where you can design your own delivery page. Just drop in your template link, add instructions, images, or even a video, and you're done. When I learned that feature, I was like, okay, I have to share this with you guys because that's a really cool feature. Setting up a storefront is also super simple. I tested it myself and had one up in an hour. They even include a free domain and hosting. On top of that, Payhip works with over 15 different payment gateways, which is way more than most digital product platforms offer. That means sellers from all over the world can set up shop and start building their online business without worrying about payment restrictions. For pricing, Payhip only takes a 5% fee per sale, and if you haven't made any sales yet, you pay nothing. It's such a great setup if you're just starting out and still growing your audience. Honestly, if all of that doesn't convince you to give it a try, I don't know what will. I leave my link in the description box so you can sign up for free and test it out for yourself. Now let's start editing. So the first style we're going to do is boho. When I think boho, I think of browns, pinks, and earthy abstract shapes. First, I'm going to remove the retro background and the frame so we have a clean slate. Then I'll change the background to a light pink color. The disco ball doesn't really fit the vibe, so I'm taking that out too. Next, I'm going to add some boho elements from Canva, things like abstract shapes and flowers. I'll use different shades of brown with a little bit of white for contrast and scatter the elements around the design. For the text, I'm actually keeping the same font because it still works with a boho look. I'll just update the colors to match the new palette. On the second page, I'm doing the same thing. I'm removing the frame, switching the background to brown, and reusing the same boho elements from the first page so it all ties together. I'll also adjust the text colors to match. So now with just a few changes, we've transformed that retro invitation into a totally different product. And notice I didn't even change the fonts. It looks like a brand new template, but it only took a few tweaks. Okay, the next design we're doing is a playful aesthetic, which basically means lots of colors and fun shapes. So first I'm removing the retro background, the disco ball, and that frame. I'll replace it with a simple white rectangle frame and add some extra shapes on both ends for more design. For the fonts, I'm switching things up to match the playful vibe. For the header, I'm using Nectarine, and for the body text, I'll use Lazy Dog. And here's a fun trick. I'm going to change the color of each letter so it's multicolored. That instantly makes it feel playful and bold. Then I'll add an outline effect, a reddish maroon color with thickness at 50 to give the text more depth. One quick note though, because I colored each letter individually, if you sell this as a template on Etsy, your customer will need to manually recolor the letters when they type their own names. I'd recommend adding that as a note in your product description or PDF instructions, just so they're aware. Most people will figure it out, but it's good to mention. For the background, I'm creating multiple rectangles in different colors: pink, purple, yellow, blue, and green. Then I'll add some playful elements like flowers with that same outline effect. I'll duplicate them, change up the colors, and scatter them around. To finish it off, I'm adding a diamond star in that same maroon tone, and that's page 1 done. On page 2, I'll remove the frame and switch the background to cream. Then I'll add polka dots in all the same colors I used on the first page. I'm just going to lessen the transparency to 50 so it's not too dark. To tie it together, I'll drop in rainbows at the top right and bottom left, plus the same flowers and diamond stars scattered around. I'll also use the same fonts from the first page, and that's it! Now we've got a super playful version of the invitation. Honestly, this could work for more than just weddings. I could totally see this as a birthday invitation too. Just change the text and you've got another product added to your store. What we're doing is minimalist. And minimalist is exactly what it sounds like. Very simple, not a lot of decoration. You know, the funny thing is, these designs actually sell really well on Etsy. Some of my own bestsellers are the most minimal, basic looking ones, which honestly still surprises me. But here's why I think they work. Minimalism is classic. It's evergreen. You know, even 5, 10, 20 years from now, these designs will still look good no matter what trends come and go. Personally, I also just think minimalism feels elegant and even a little luxurious. So let's turn this invitation into a minimalist one. First, I'm stripping it down. No background, no frames, no disco ball, clean slate. Then I'm changing the background to white and keeping the whole design in black and white. For the fonts, I'm switching to a serif font called Seasons for both the names and the details. To add a touch of elegance, I'll mix in a script font too. I'm using Perfumery Script here, which gives it that high-end feel. I'll also add a simple line art graphic, maybe a hand-drawn drink illustration, just to give it one little design element without cluttering it up. And that's page 1 done. Super quick. On page 2, same thing. White background, serif fonts, and a bit more spacing since we removed the frame. Instead of the original frame, I'll add a simple vintage line art detail at the top and bottom. It still feels minimal, but with a nice polished touch. And that's it! We've got a minimalist version of this invitation. This literally took less than 5 minutes to do, which shows how easy minimal designs can be. So don't overlook minimalism in your shop. People love them, they're timeless, and they really do sell. Alright, so the next design we're doing is Mediterranean style. I've noticed this is really trending right now for wedding invitations, and I think it's because a lot of destination weddings are happening in Italy. You know, the Italian vibe, the lemons, the coats, the tiles. It's such a mood, and I am honestly obsessed. So here's how we're going to create that look. First, I'm stripping out the retro background and the frame. For the background, I'll add vertical line patterns in blue, almost like tile stripes, to give it that Mediterranean texture. Next, I'll swap the frame to an arch shape, or as I'd like to describe it, a door shape. Then for fonts, I'm going with Beth Ellen for the names. It's a handwritten script that feels very relaxed, like you're sipping wine on the Amalfi Coast. To balance that out, I'm pairing it with a more formal font, Old Standard, for the date and details. For accents, I'm adding lemons, lots of them, because nothing says Italy like lemons. I'll place a lemon frame on the top left and another one on the bottom right so it feels framed but not too busy. And of course, I'll switch the text colors to blue and yellow to tie everything together. On page 2, I'll keep it consistent, remove the old frame, set a blue background, and add thinner vertical stripes, this time with lower transparency so it's more subtle. Then I'll scatter more lemon illustrations around the page just to keep that playful Italian vibe going. Fonts stay the same as the first page, Beth, Ellen, and Old Standard, but this time I'll keep them white and yellow so they stand out on the blue background. And that's it! We've got a Mediterranean-inspired invitation. This style is super in demand on Etsy right now, and honestly in the wedding world in general. It's fresh, it's fun, and it totally transports you to Italy. And the last design we're going to do is cottagecore, which is another trend I'm obsessed with. If you're not familiar, cottagecore is all about cozy, whimsical vibes. Think greens and browns, fairy tale elements, butterflies, flowers, and that living in a little cottage in the woods aesthetic. So let's turn this template into cottagecore. First, I'm removing the background and the frame. Then I'll set the background to an olive green and layer a paper texture on top. I'll lower the transparency to about 15 so it just gives a subtle, cozy texture. For fonts, I'm using Anactoria, and if you're a Taylor Swift fan, it totally gives me Folklore/Evermore album vibes. I'll also add a lift effect so the text stands out more. Now for the fun part, the elements. I'm adding butterflies, flowers, letters, and some sparkling stars. They all add to that dreamy, whimsical cottage feel. On page 2, I'll keep it consistent. Olive green background, paper texture, same fonts with a lift effect. And then I'll scatter more sparkles and a few more elements along the sides. And that's it! Now we've got a cottagecore-inspired invitation. Cozy, whimsical, and just really cute. And there you go! You just took one template and turned it into a whole collection of different styles. And notice how I never had to start from scratch. That's really the secret to creating products faster, filling up your shop with listings, and doing it all without burning out. If you want to try this for yourself, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Grab any template you already have and put your own spin on it. Or if you want to shortcut, the template I used today is from The Vault, my library of over 1,000 resellable digital products. These are designs I personally created based on what's performed best in my own shop and helped me grow a 6-figure business. I'll leave the link below if you want to check it out. Also, once you've created your designs, you'll need a place to sell them. That's where Payhip comes in. It's a super easy platform where you can sell digital products from all over the world. I'll leave my link in the description box if you want to sign up. It's completely free to get started. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. As always, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!